everyone, this is Sahara Rose from Sahara Rose Travels. I just want to thank everyone who's been watching my videos. I posted 2 last week where I told a little bit my story of how I was able to travel to 75 countries by the age of 30. I talked about the 5 key elements that I used to be able to do so, which were money management, travel hacks, mindset, spiritual purpose, and action. And then I also talked about I shared 5 of my favorite travel hacks in one of my second videos. So a bit about me, guys. Again, my name is Sahara Rose. I run my own coaching and travel consulting business. I post these videos so that I can share and help all of you to be able to travel the world just like I have. So again, thanks for everyone who's been watching. If you have any questions throughout any of my videos, please feel free to ask them. I'll answer them at the end of all of my videos. So what am I going to be talking about today? Today I'm going to be talking about one of those 5 key elements, of which is mindset. And this is actually one of the most important that I feel. So what entails in mindset is I'm going to address fears and anxieties. That's huge. A lot of people have so many questions and concerns when it comes to traveling, and therefore they never overcome them and they never go out and they travel. So I'm going to share with you one of my fears, which is actually being seen, which sounds kind of silly because I'm sitting here on a live Facebook feed, and I've traveled the world, which I am exposed to so many people. I meet so many new people. I'm in environments where I am the foreigner and I look different, so people are going to look. And because I actually have an anxiety disorder, that just heightens all of that. And actually, I just wanted to give a side note that I actually wrote a blog post about how I'm able to travel the world with an anxiety disorder. So if any of you are interested in reading that, I'll post the link in the body of this video for you when I'm finished. So if you're interested in reading that, you can go ahead and do so. So going back to my fear of being seen is I don't like the attention and stuff. But the reason I know that I have to do these things is because I want to be able to help others. I want to be able to go and travel the world, and I want to be able to share my message and share with all of you. So if I never did this Facebook live feed, or I never went and I traveled, I never stepped on that plane and went to go to those countries and be around all these new people who of course you're going to be seen, you're never going to accomplish anything. So my message would never be sent to all of you if I never pushed this Facebook live video button. And let me tell you, it's pretty hard. I've sit here for several minutes as if my hands are tied behind my back and I'm not able to push that button, but I know that it's what I need to do. So I go ahead and I do it. So it's the same thing when it comes to fears for you guys. There's so many questions when it comes to traveling and so many fears and anxieties that people have, such as it's not safe, or what if something bad happens, or what if I get lost, or I don't know my way around a city, or what if I don't speak the language? There's so many questions that people have, and they let those hold them back from being able to go and actually live their life and travel, which is quite unfortunate because when it comes to fears and anxieties, all they are thoughts. They're not actually going to refrain you from actually doing anything unless you let them. So what I like to say is people always come up with objections, which I like to call excuses when it comes to travel fears and anxieties. For instance, a lot of people may have the fear of safety. So they say, well, the world's just not safe, so I'm just not going to go. Or I heard about this in the news, or someone told me this story, so I'm just not going to do it. They use these objections to comfort their fears and their anxieties, to accept that it's okay to not go and do that. And that's not going to get you anywhere, guys. That's not going to allow you to go and travel, see the world, to anything. And this is applicable to anything in your life. You're not going to ever go and get that dream job that you have if you go by all the what ifs. What if I fail in my interview? What if they don't like my resume? There's so many what ifs. Same thing about relationships. You're not going to know if that person is really meant for you, if you're meant to be together, if you never take the first step and talk to the person or communicate or go out on a date. You're never going to know because of all the what ifs that are holding you back. So that's very similar to when it comes to traveling. I can't tell you how many conversations I have with people of saying, oh, I really want to travel, I want to see the world, I want to go here, I want to do this or that, but they never do it because of the but I just don't think it's safe, or I just don't really have enough money, or um, I have a boyfriend, or I have a partner, and I have a family, I have a job, I don't have enough time. All of those objections that you are putting into play that are comforting your anxieties and your fears, there's ways around them, you guys. When it comes to, you can't, that's why I like to call them excuses. You can't say, it's too expensive to travel, so I'm just not going to go and do it because I don't have $1 million, and so it's impossible. Yeah, well, I'm here to tell you that I'm living proof that you can travel the world on any budget. There's so many people that do it. There's so many resources and tools out there that allow you to help you travel on a budget, on your own budget, to save money. So that is just an excuse. When it comes to a job, yeah, I understand you have a job, it's 9 to 5, you have a certain schedule, but maybe you can optimize on your weekend time or your holidays. Everyone gets vacation time or holidays or maybe summer break. You can optimize on that when it comes to your traveling. Just use your budget hacking skills that I've taught in my videos to go and be able to create a weekend getaway or a holiday vacation where you are within your own budget and come back refreshed and renewed. So anything is possible, you guys. If you listen to these thoughts in your heads and you let yourself be held back, you're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to accomplish anything. You're never going to live your ideal and your best life if you let your fears and your anxieties and your objections overcome you. There's so many ways around, to work around it. For instance, what I like to do is I like to push myself. I push this button, to go live, so I can send this message. It's something that I need to do to be able to reach all of you. I'm very uncomfortable. It makes me you know, no one likes to feel uncomfortable. No one likes to step outside of their comfort zone. So it's the same thing when it comes to traveling. A lot of people, it's uncomfortable. It brings up so many anxieties, so many feelings. So a lot of people like to go back into their comfort zone. They stay in their hometown, or they stay within their job that they're really not happy in, but it's what they know, and they never take that step outside of the box. They never push themselves. So what I like to do is I push myself. So I push that button literally to go onto Facebook Live, or I've done things in my life where I show myself that it's okay. It's just thoughts. It's just feelings. And it's what I need to do to be able to take the next step in life, to learn, to grow. So I've done strange things like competing in a Miss Illinois USA pageant, or I've done public speaking, or I've talked to classrooms of students, or I've done speeches in front of gyms of a bunch of people. So all of those are going to, of course, bring up fears and anxieties of mine. What if no one watches my videos? What if no one finds it interesting? What if all these what ifs that there may be for all of these fears? But you never know if you don't do it. And you never know, you won't ever learn. You're never ever going to get to the next step in life and to accomplish what exactly your dream and ideal life is if you don't take that step. So I always say that um, everything is possible. You can do anything in your life that you want to do, and it's always up to you to be able to do that. So then over the mindset, I want to talk about two questions. Two questions that I like to ask when it comes to traveling are, why do you want to travel, and are you ready to travel? And why these two questions are really important is because, for instance, why do you want to travel? You have to figure out what is it that is causing you to want to travel. What is giving you that wanderlust? What is giving you that desire to go and explore and see the world? And the reason it's so important is because of you have to figure out, where is that coming from within. For instance, are you just wanting to, you're so stressed in your life and you want to relax on a beach? Are you unhappy in your job and you just need some time off? Did you just end a really serious relationship, so you're in a mindset where you're just not okay? And you want to go and find yourself? Are you in a roadblock in your life where you're not sure of what career that you want, so you want to just take some time off to go and travel and kind of explore your options and see where kind of falls into place for you? So all these questions, or all these possibilities of why you want to travel is key, because if any of those come from like a negative place, for instance, if you're traveling because you want to run away from problems you have at home or problems that you have from within, it's never going to work, you guys. So if you go and you travel, it doesn't matter where you go in the world, if you're running from problems or your issues that are back at home, you're going to bring those with you, and that's going to affect that your trip, your travels, and you're never ever going to get everything that you can out of traveling. You're never going to be able to get all that travel has to offer for you. You're never going to get the full benefits and experience out of traveling. So that's why it's really, really important to figure out, why do you want to travel? And the second question that you should ask yourself is, are you ready to travel? And what does that entail? That entails asking yourself, first of all, why is it that I want to travel? And it doesn't matter, hi Michelle, and it doesn't matter how many Pinterest boards you build or Instagram followers you look at or travel blogs you read or any of those things. You could do all the steps necessary that you need to prepare yourself for a trip. But um, if you don't have the right mindset and you don't ask yourself, why is it that you want to travel, and if you're ready to travel, you're never going to book that ticket, and you're never going to step on that plane, and you're never going to be open to the full benefits that traveling has to offer for you. So that's really, really big, you guys. Because there's so much that you can get out of traveling, that and it can help you so much in your life, and I'm proof of that. When I graduated from university, I had no clue what direction I wanted in life when it came to a career. I always did so many different things and tried so many things. I had so many different jobs, and it all worked for me. I loved them all. I was really happy. I loved doing different things, but I didn't know what my career path was. So I let that time of my traveling allow me to explore and to figure that out. And I knew that when the time was right, it would happen. It would dawn on me exactly what I wanted to do. And it led me to the place that I am now, which is really, really exciting. So those are so many things that traveling can do for you for so many different reasons. It could bring you in connections with certain people in your life. It could help you figure out what you want, what your passions are, what sensitivities you have, what you see, what you experience by helping others. So it just leads you to so many awesome things, but you're never going to be able to reach those if you don't have the right mindset when it comes to traveling. So if you are not open with open mind and open heart and open arms when it comes to traveling, you're never going to fully get all of those benefits. What do I mean by that? Is that if you are not open to other cultures or religions or beliefs or foods or any of that stuff, if have this roadblock in your mind, and you're kind of within your own little world, you're never going to um, break that mold within yourself. You're never going to receive any benefits out of that. You're never going to expand your mind and learn and grow as a person and figure out your life path if you do not have an open mind, open heart, and open arms when it comes to traveling. And all of that is associated with your mindset. You have to figure out, why is it that you want to travel, and if you're ready to travel. And if you're not ready to travel, you have to figure out, why is that as well. And that goes back to your fears and your anxieties and whatever objections you may be putting up. So for instance, all these fears and anxieties and these what ifs can hold you back in so many different ways. And that's why I think mindset is one of the most crucial points of when you to be able to travel so much. Because if you're not in the right mindset, none of that matters. You might as well never book that ticket. You might as well never say that you're going to go anywhere, do or plan anything, because you're going to give in and succumb to all of your fears and your anxieties. So I dare you guys, I dare you to go out and set that goal and address your fears, address these anxieties, figure out what it is that's holding you back, and then do something, challenge yourself to overcome those. Show yourself that it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. You need to do these certain things to be able to get to the next step in life, to live your best and your ideal life. You have to overcome these certain things, and they're just thoughts. If you just figure out a way to cope with certain things, like I do with my anxiety, I find ways that I cope with it when I travel so that I never let it hinder me and therefore I'm able to live my best life and do all that I want to do and get out of life. It's really, really important, you guys. So I can't preach that enough. I love to be able to help people and encourage them to travel and figure out how to travel, but they always let all of these fears and these what ifs hold them back. So there's so much out of life that you can get if you just overcome these, if you just challenge yourself and push yourself and don't let things hold you back. And I'm not saying that you can go and eliminate fears and anxiety. That's not going to be possible. I mean, if I could get rid of my anxiety disorder, I would do it. Anyone would. But there's certain things that you live with, so you figure out ways that you can cope with them and that you can work with them so that you can still accomplish and do all that you want to do and have the life that you want to live. You have to envision certain things, you have to set goals, and you have to figure out steps that you're going to take to do that. So when it comes to me and my life, I always knew what certain things I wanted to do, and I knew that would fit my personality and my wants out of life. For instance, I knew working in a corporate environment in an office 9 to 5 was never going to fit for me. I was never going to be happy, um, despite hearing whatever society limits they put on you, whatever the norms are, whatever the typical life guidelines are of going to school, high school, college, graduate, degree, job, family, marriage, all of that, buy a house. That they're great things, and for some people that works for them, but I knew for myself within that was not for me. So even though I have fears and I had certain anxieties and I had all these what ifs and all these questions, and also the question of how I'm able to do it, anything is possible. You can, it's up to you to be able to dictate your life and to build the life that you want to build. So I got really good at figuring out how to do things and to problem solve. And so if I didn't know how to do something on my own, I found the resources that are available to be able to do so. I ask questions, I figure things out on my own, and that's how a lot of my travels were. When you travel, there's so many problems you can run into. There's so many things there's so many unknowns, but you can't let any of those hold you back. So you just have to learn, you build skills, you figure out how to problem solve, you ask for help, and all of these things help you grow as a person. It helps you put in perspective your what you're capable of, what your abilities are, what your skills are, where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are. So that's what all of these things that travel can do for you, which is why I absolutely love to travel and why it's so, so exciting. And that I think that everyone should be able to travel at some point in their life, because I really, really believe that it helps build who you are and it helps put your life in perspective, and it can help you in so many different ways. And that's why I create these videos, so that I can help all of you do the same thing, just because anything is possible. And I know that it's really hard. When I started traveling 8 years ago, when I graduated from university, I had so many questions. And let me tell you guys, the technology and the resources and the travel blogs were not up to par as what they are now. What's available now, it was not available then. I was walking around with a flip phone that I couldn't turn on. Therefore, I was asking everyone around the world in other languages what time it was. I didn't have any of the budget tips that I have now, like any of that stuff, but I didn't let that hold me back. I went out in the world and I learned how to do it. I learned how to manage it, how to still go, because I knew that's what I wanted to do. I knew that's in my life, that's what I wanted and that's what I needed. And I didn't let any pressures from society or family or anything of what I should do, or what people my age should have done. I knew that within myself, that's not what I wanted. So I knew that I wanted to travel, and I knew that I would have to figure out, if I couldn't find the answers for it, I'd go out there and I'd figure it out on my own. And let me tell you guys, I ran into so many things along the way, and I had to figure out them on my own, or I learned. For instance, I almost got deported one time when I was flying from Qatar to Istanbul, because I didn't know that my Istanbul required a visa on arrival sticker in my passport, and that in order to get a sticker in your passport, you have to I have a full empty page. And so when I was in Qatar checking in for my flight, the lady was like, "Oh, you're super lucky. Like, there's one empty page left. They would have deported you upon arrival in Istanbul if you didn't have this, because we wouldn't be able to put the sticker in there." So I ran to the computer, everything was fine for that trip, but I ran to the computer and I researched every country that I was planning to go to after that, that make sure that it was no one required a visa on arrival sticker, that only stamps, which they can stamp anywhere. But I wouldn't have learned that if I didn't experience that. And I problem solved and I figured out that, you know, maybe I should do a little bit more research beforehand, or um, you just grow when you learn from all of these different things, guys. And if you never take that first step of booking that ticket and step on that plane, you'll never be able to go and learn these life skills and life things that traveling can bring for you. It can put so much in perspective for whatever feelings that you have in life, whatever roadblocks you're at, whatever kind of limitations that you're putting on yourself right now. There's so much that the world of travel can bring for you. And so that's why I love to be able to share all this with you. Hey Joe, hi Brian, hi Rochelle. Thanks for everyone for watching. Feel free to share these videos so that can help others as well. I know that all the topics that I talk about in my videos are super, super common with so many people. For years, I've been reached out to by many people with so many different travel related questions. So I see a recurring theme of certain topics and questions. So I like to address these in my videos so that everyone has a place to come to get these answers from. I'm super excited for certain things that are coming up, and I just want to share that with you guys. So I'm going to be launching my website, Sahara Rose Travels, very, very soon, as well as my first course. And in my course, I'm going to be going much further into depth about the nitty-gritty about all of these topics. I hope the course don't send me into debt. That'd be terrible. But all these topics, and so it's really exciting. All my courses are going to be able to help you do exactly what I did, but within your own self, your own life, how that fits for your budget, your lifestyle, your work, your wants, your desires out of life. I'm going to give you all the tools necessary and guidance that you need, that I wish that I had when I started 8 years ago when I began traveling. So I'm super excited about that. And so today, just to recap, I want to talk about what this video was about. So I talked about mindset, which is one of the 5 key elements when it comes to traveling. That I find that it's one of the most important. And we talked about how to address and overcome a lot of the fears and anxieties and objections that you have when it comes to traveling. And also the 2 questions that you should ask yourself, which are, why do you want to travel, and are you ready to travel? So once you get all these, get a piece of paper, you guys, write these fears, anxieties, questions that you have, what ifs down, see it, visualize it, see it on a piece of paper, and then address those. See if they're actually real things that you can address and that you can overcome, and figure out how do you overcome those. Are they just excuses that you're making? Find the ways that you can work around those certain things so that you can, and then set your goals over on this side, and then see, what do I need to do on this side to be able to accomplish this over here. So yeah, thanks you guys so much for watching. I'm super excited about posting these videos, and if you ever have any questions, please let me know. I will be doing a live video every week on different topics, so I'm really excited to be covering all these topics that so many people have been reaching out to me about, especially money management, which is going to be coming up. People want to know exactly how I afford to travel, and how I was able to travel to 75 countries by the age of 30, all on my own funds. So I'm super excited to be able to share all of that with all of you. So thanks again for watching my videos, and please share them, and please stay tuned for my website launch as well as my course. Thanks guys. See you next week.